And this is how we start the
And
podcast.
this is how we start.
And it begins.
And it begins. Welcome to
That time of the night.
Cheers with Mac and Tay.
I'm Mac. She's Tay.
And we'll just get right into it. We're at McKenna's house.
Welcome.
This is going to be a podcast about friendship.
Friendship. Many years of
years of friendships. How long? Tell them how long we've been friends.
In a few weeks, it will be 28 years.
28 years, which is how old both of us are about to be.
Yes.
Yeah. So my mom and her dad went to high school together. We're friends for like only a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, how many years would that be?
Let's see. When they were like 16, they were friends for like a year and a half. And then they reunited in a different state.
Yeah.
When they were like
10 years later?
Something, like 15 years later. Because my dad was like 34 when I was born.
Oh my gosh.
So like almost 20 years later, reunited in Arizona.
Right.
We were born 6 weeks apart. And then
you weren't even here when you were born. So then
I wasn't
the fact
here.
that
okay, that's true.
They were in California.
So add another year to that.
That's crazy.
So basically 20 years later, reunited in Arizona, and we've been stuck with each other ever since.
Is there anybody you kind of knew in high school for a year that you think something like that would happen? Like, that's just weird.
No, because...
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That's Suki, by the way. I have 2 cats, Suki and Remy. They're my little black voids. They might show up from time to time. I have no control over that.
Get used to it.
I have.
Anyways, that's crazy. And here we are, 40 years in the making of
40
friendship.
years in the making of our friendship. And
Stop, you're going to make me cry.
Tay's crying.
Yeah. Now he's crying.
Today's a special day because it's Brankelversary.
Technically, yesterday was Brankelversary. Okay. I guess
it's the week of Brankelversary. To all who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving.
Brankles. Happy anniversary of the tragedy in Toronto. The birth of Branks in the Great Fall. And yes, we all know what happened. And if you don't know, buckle up.
Brankle up.
Brankle up for my sob story. So 3 years ago, me and my sister had been planning a trip to Ireland and Scotland for like a year, and finally decided to go. And I was on my way to Ireland. I had a layover in Toronto. And I kind of tripped and fell getting out of the plane onto the little jetway, runway. I never know what to say.
The walkway from the
plane,
airport to the plane. You're getting off.
I'm getting off the plane into Toronto.
You have 2 bags.
I've got 2 bags. I stayed up that whole night to try to beat jet lag. I didn't tell them when we sued them that I did that.
She's going to tell us now.
But I already got the money, so it doesn't matter now. What are they going to do now? I hope not sue me back because I don't have any money.
Probably not.
So I was very sleep deprived. I did have 2 bags. I was like carrying a bunch of shit and wasn't paying attention to where I was walking. And the thing was like this far apart.
Let's be specific because this is litigation. How far apart were the things? How many inches?
This to this.
That's a lot. A lot of inches.
And I fell right there and
didn't see it. 2 bags, stepped down.
Yeah. I fell. Collapsed. Nobody helped me up. Nobody asked if I was okay.
Trampled you.
Kicked me in the face. I got up and walked a little bit and immediately was like, oh no, that hurts. But I walked through the whole thing, and then once you're in the airport, like once I found a bench, I like sat down and I was like, let me just like take a breather. Maybe I just need a breather. And I was like, okay, let me walk again. And I like couldn't I couldn't walk like 5 more feet. So then and it was like still kind of COVID-y because it was 2022.
This is the third
Yeah. So
anniversary.
you still had to wear masks. And then I was like crying and I called my mom. My first thought was my sister's gonna be so mad at me because I can't go. So I called my mom and I was like, I fell and I don't know, I can't walk and whatever. And so I don't know, I like walked over to this other side of the airport and finally got somebody, and they like called like the fire department and they like told me, they were like, don't tell anybody you got hurt because they'll make you go to the hospital and they won't let you get on your flight. And I was like, well, at that point I thought I was still going to make my trip. So I was like, well, I don't want to be stuck at the hospital not being able to make my flight. So I'm not going to tell anybody. So they just gave me ice packs and stuff to wrap my ankles with. I was like, okay.
And at this point, what did your ankles look like?
They were swollen,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember. I blocked it all out. Are you joking? So I'm sitting there, and then every couple, like, because I had like a 6-hour layover, so I like had time, and I like sat there for a while, like elevating my ankles, and then I like tried, and I couldn't walk, and I'm like on and off the phone with my mom, like, what do I do? Like, they told me not to tell anybody, so I'm just sitting here, like, kind of in the corner of the airport. And my sister missed her flight, so she wasn't even on her way to Ireland. She was still in Atlanta. And then it took me like, once we finally decided like I can't walk, I'm not going on this trip. So then it turned into, okay, I got to get my bag off the plane. But it took me like 4 hours, like legit 4 or 5 hours, to convince somebody to give me a wheelchair, to then convince them to take me to wherever I need to go.
You.
Yeah.
I picture you sitting, your feet up, and you're going,
pardon. No. Well, we're in Toronto, so they all do have like a French accent. One day we're going to fly.
Me. Can anyone get me a wheelchair? And nobody's looking at you, and you're just double branked up.
Yeah. So one day we're going to fly through Toronto, and I'm going to show you guys where I sat.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel like I'm going to get the chance to reclaim Toronto.
Right.
So we're going to fly through Toronto. I'm going to show you like where I sat and the little, because there's like a wheelchair area like taunting me, like I don't know how many feet away. And I was like, if I could just get to the wheelchairs.
Just wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Abounding.
Yeah. So like if I could just get to the wheelchairs, somebody will be like, yeah, let's go, bud. Not the case. So I finally had like one person, and then I think he ditched me, and then I finally got this guy to finally help me. And I explained my situation. I was like, I need to get to somebody to get my bag off the plane.
Your checked bag?
My checked bag.
Your checked bag.
My checked bag. I don't know where to go. So finally he gets me to where I need to go, and they're like, okay, we can get your bag off the plane, but it's going to be another like 5 hours. So yeah.
To get your bag?
To get my bag off the plane.
Why?
I blocked it all out.
Okay.
I don't remember. Okay. But legit, this was like a 15-hour thing. So then we're like dicking around in the airport, and then I'm like, well, I'm here, like, let me just fly home. Well, I've left the US and you needed a negative COVID test to get back into the US. And I was like, where the fuck am I going to get a COVID test when I can't even get somebody in the airport working wheelchairs to let me sit in a wheelchair? So he's like, yeah, there's COVID tests on the other side of the airport.
Like, bitch, crawl.
I know.
You can crawl.
Yeah. He legit said, on the other side of the airport. And I was like, he's like, but I don't go outside of security. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, who helps me once I get outside of security? And he's like, no one's obligated. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sticking with him because he's been helping me. Mm-hmm.
Was he hot?
No, he was this 70-year-old maybe.
Well,
no. So
So this sexy 70-year-old
Yes,
man.
with a French accent. Um, so we're waiting around, and then I finally get my bag, I think at like 11 o'clock midnight. And then it's like, where do I go now? I don't really want to stay at the airport because I can't walk.
Mhm.
And then so my
Do
mom,
you have a flight home?
not yet, not yet, no flight home yet. Well, yes, my mom, she booked me a hotel and she booked me a flight home.
Mhm.
But the flight home was the next morning at like 4 a.m. or something. So by the time and then I'm like, how do I get to the hotel?
Mhm.
So they do have shuttles, that take you to the hotel. And I'm like, okay, how do I get on the shuttle? So I get on the shuttle, and of course, it's jam packed full.
Mhm.
And they're like, you have to stand. And I was like, I can't stand. So somebody gets up and lets me sit. Thank God. And then, so we passed all the hotels, and the driver's like, which hotel are you at? And I told him, he was like, you need to call this other hotel and make sure your reservation isn't at that hotel. And I was like, no, I have my reservation right here, and it says it's this hotel. He's like, you need to call the other one. And I was like, he's like, sometimes they're overbooked and they'll put you at the other hotel. And I'm like,
And just
fucking,
not tell you.
yeah. So sure enough, I call
Fucking
Hilton
Canada.
Doubletree, and they're like, yeah, it's here. It's not wherever my reservation actually was. So I was like, okay. So I go to the Doubletree, I get out of the shuttle, and I take my luggage, and I'm walking, and I get to the front desk, I check in, and I ask if there was like a wheelchair or something, or if I could have some help taking my bags up to my room. And they looked at me and said, do you need a wheelchair? And I said, yes. They're like, for who? And I was like, me. And they were like, not someone like older. And I was like, no, I need help. And they just kind of stared at me for too long. And I was like, you know what? Never mind. So I had to walk to the elevator, get up to my room.
Did anyone help with your bags?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's like that is like basic hotel. That's not even
No, yeah.
okay.
So I'm like, can't walk. I had one big bag and a big backpack on, and can't walk. I get into the elevator, and I finally get to my room. As soon as I'm in my room, I'm ass on the floor. I'm crawling. I'm not using my fucking feet anymore. I literally crawl because I haven't peed.
Mhm.
I haven't ate
Mhm.
in 12 hours.
Mm.
And anyways, first, so I crawl onto the toilet. I finally pee. I crawl back on the floor, and then somehow crawl into bed. And I call my mom, tell her I'm finally in the hotel. But I'm like, I was like, I just had to crawl onto the toilet. Like, there's no way I'm waking up in 4 hours and doing this all again. I have to get a COVID test. I don't know how I'm getting back to the airport. I barely got into my room just now. I don't know how to get through the airport without a wheelchair, and that was a whole fiasco. So she's like, okay. She's like, let me figure out and call you back. And my mom bought a flight and was out in Toronto like 2 days later,
So you're in that hotel for 2 days just
laying there. I showed you
just
that
broken.
picture
Mhm.
because I knew. So I took a picture the next morning because it was it had to have been the day after that because the whole next morning I had to wait on call for like 5 hours to cancel the flight that she booked me.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, the flight is in like an hour and it's too late to cancel or something. And I was like, I've been on hold for 5 hours, and or they wanted to charge me something, and I was like, I've been on hold for 5 hours. So we canceled it and it was fine. So then yeah, I was holed up. But I took that picture because I knew in the future this would be a funny story. So I took a picture with my feet up on the pillows, and I wrapped them with towels that I ran in the sink, cold water in the sink, and I wrapped because I didn't have ice.
Couldn't even get
I
up.
couldn't even get ice. And then I used the stupid Snapchat like city filter of Toronto because I knew it'd be funny. I knew it'd be a funny story eventually, even though it was the worst day of my life. Anyways, it's not a very funny story to start on. It's like really depressing story to start on.
I find it hilarious.
So then, like, fast forward a year later, and we're in Italy, and I accidentally, instead of saying my broken ankles, I said brankles. So now that's what we call them.
And her brankles are with us till this day.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little better.
They are better. They really don't hurt
Hmm.
anymore.
You got money back from fucking Delta.
Was it Delta?
I thought so, but you would know.
I don't remember, honestly.
She got.
I did. My sister seems to. She's like, at least we got something back. I think we got everything back.
So you had a 2-week trip in Ireland and Scotland planned, and instead you got to spend 2 weeks in Toronto by yourself with broken ankles, then Oklahoma for like a week.
Because my mom didn't want me to come. Because obviously I live in Phoenix. She didn't want me to go home right away, which made sense because I couldn't walk. So yeah, so we flew back to Oklahoma because that's where my parents live, and we went to the hospital, went to the foot doctor, and they took X-rays and shit. Nothing was broken, just torn liggies.
I thought you had like an avulsion fracture. I don't know.
Well, you would know. I sent it all to you. I was like, I don't know what any of this means.
You had some like significant grade 3.
They were like, this is really hard to tear or fracture or something.
You tore on one side, you tore the lateral ligaments, which is the normal ones.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you tore the deltoid ligament, which is not easy to tear.
On both?
No,
or just
on the one foot,
yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah.
That's the big, yeah. You tore that one, which is impressive.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then you still used up 2 weeks of PTO.
I did. I used up 2 weeks of PTO. Yeah. So I was in Toronto for like 3 or 4 days. Mm-hmm. I was in Oklahoma for about a week. And then I was home for a couple days. And then I went back to work. Yeah. I was on crutches for a little bit.
Home was upstairs.
Home was upstairs. She had to teach me how to use crutches on the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I had a shit boyfriend who wouldn't pick me up from the airport.
That's horrible.
Well, I was like, I need a.
Did I pick you up?
You picked me up.
See,
I know. I was like, felt like I had to convince him to pick me up from the airport. I was like, oh my god. Anyways, but yeah, and now it's been 3 years, and we can laugh about it.
Did you have a nice trip?
It's not a funny joke. It wasn't a funny joke then. You weren't even the one who made the joke. Wasn't a funny joke then. No, not a funny joke now.
But it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Well, happy Brinkles to you.
And happy
I'm
Brinkles
sorry
to me
for
as
your
well.
distress.
Thank you.
You're right. It is a funny story now.
I feel like none of that is gonna be funny.
Here's the thing. I don't know.
Not a lot of funny happening here. Although I think we are pretty funny.
We're funny.
We're funny.
You'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you'll all see.
Okay. Let's see. I would like to tell a story about work.
Oh. Gross or not gross?
Well, gross. What would you prefer? They're mostly gross. They're mostly gross. The best one recently was a nice older man. Okay, he was nice. They're not all nice, but
they're usually not nice.
When you're wearing a hospital gown, okay, in school they didn't teach me any of this fucking shit.
Tell the people what you do for a living.
I'm a physical therapist. I work in a hospital, so I'm with the people who are like in the hospital gowns, getting hospital shit done to them. It's like acute care, okay? So they're pooping, they're peeing, they're puking, they're bleeding. Everything is...
They're pooping, they're peeing, they're puking. The 3 Ps.
They're pooping, they're peeing, they're puking, they're bleeding. They're pooping, they're peeing, they're puking, they're bleeding. That's my theme song.
Yeah. She's coming in the room, start singing.
Puking, pooping, peeing, bleeding. I would say if I had to rank those, I would prefer probably bleeding. No, well, I don't want them to bleed, but blood is the least gross.
Why are we ranking them?
I would just,
Okay, as a worker, not as a daily lifer.
No, as an employee, things I encounter, I would rank them. I would prefer blood first because it's usually just a little bit.
Okay.
It's not usually a ton of blood. There's an exception to that. Then pee, because I deal with that constantly every day. Everyone is just peeing in the bed. When you go to the hospital, they don't let you get up on your own if you could fall, which is most people that I see. So you pee in the bed, just in your pee. So pee. then vomit,
And then poop.
and then poop. Poop is last. Poop is the worst.
And yet poop is the most stories.
And yet poop happens to be the most comical.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. I would say I almost hate farts more than poop.
Do tell.
Well, okay, here's the thing is when you're when someone's on their side in bed and you're cleaning up their poop, if they just are sometimes they project.
Okay. I would just like to say this is not going how I go. We got Brinks and we got poop.
Whoop, 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 back it up.
Back it up. So, what story?
If they're
would
not
you
doing
like to...
those things, then they're at least wearing a hospital gown, and we do our best to preserve their dignity. But also, I got shit to do, so weenies and hoo-has be out.
So, okay, what's your story?
My story is not much of a story, but I said to Tay today, an 82-year-old man with his penis out told me I was beautiful.
And you know what? That's just what we all want. I mean,
and cheers to that.
And cheers. Because I don't remember the last time a man said I was beautiful.
And with his penis out.
And with his penis out.
Yeah.
Well, now that... No.
Penises are gross.
She's gay.
And I'm gay.
That should be the name of the podcast.
Penises are gross and I'm gay.
Except I'm straight.
Except she's straight, even though penises are gross. I mean, vaginas are also gross in that setting.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's as specific as I'd like to be with that right now.
Yeah, I think we...
So, friendships.
So, that's what this is about. Friendship.
Well, friends are for telling your horrible stories to and sharing and commiserating.
Yeah.
And you might hate it, but
I don't hate it.
My gross stories, you don't hate it?
They're just a little gross. I just get grossed out easily, so it just grosses me out. I don't hate it.
Oh,
thank
you.
I just
tolerates it.
I just don't love the really gross ones, and I wish you wouldn't tell me the really gross ones.
Yeah, but those are the ones they want to tell you the most.
Yeah. Anyways, we also will talk about sports.
We'll talk about sports.
Because I'm a huge sports fan. Apparently, none of my friends are big sports fans. They're just fans of sports because of me.
Why are you projecting this onto me?
I don't know where you stand. I was blindsided like a month ago. I thought all my friends loved my teams as much as I did for their own personal enjoyment of the game and the boys.
I think that your friends love you.
Yeah.
And so they support the things that you enjoy. I like sports. I even love sports sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not as
Look at us learning like about each other.
Friendship. That is the thing. We have been friends and we communicate telepathically.
Yeah.
And yet there are things we're going to learn about each other on this podcast.
Friendship.
That we didn't know. And it's just going to make our friendship blossom even more.
Yeah, or make us hate each other.
And now you can ask your friends if they really
enjoy sports or if they just like it because your one friend likes sports.
And I think that's beautiful either way. Taylor disagrees.
I get it, but I feel like, because the prime example was I used Corbin Carroll. We're big Diamondbacks fans, okay? Very excited for this season.
Go Snack.
Corbin Carroll is like baby boy of Arizona. He's our
golden child.
Yeah. And I think he deserves to be loved for who he is, not because you shouldn't love him because I love him. You should just love him because he's great.
As a fan, I love him because he's adorable and wonderful. Yeah, however, I don't think I would be as invested in the sport, in the team, if you weren't here supporting my fandom. You know what I mean?
I hold so much power in the Diamondbacks organization and they don't even know.
And they don't respect
They don't
you
even
at
know.
all.
Don't. Well, let's not be mean to them because we love you.
Hey, Diamondbacks,
yeah,
if you're listening,
hey,
and
Tori.
we know that you are.
Hey, Tori, talking straight to you, man.
Tori, put the cocaine down and look into my eyes. This is the biggest Diamondbacks fan you've ever met, and she would do anything, the weirdest thing, to just be a
Sit
part,
in the dugout,
to sit in the dugout.
please. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Tori.
We're very excited for the season to start 1 week from today. From
1 week
recording
from today.
Don't know
opening
when
day.
this is going to be posted.
That's
It's
true.
going to take me a hot sec, I think, to figure out how to do that.
We'll
But
figure it out.
1 week from today is baseball season. Very excited. I've missed it so much. We just went to a spring training game 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It was very cold.
If you've never been to spring training, it's like, the point is that you are skipping work
Yes.
and or school, and it's your day drinking.
Yeah.
The problem is we went to a night game and it was freezing,
yeah.
and
we still had to
the
go to
vibes
work.
were not
Yeah.
there.
I still had to go to work that day. I mean, I still had a great time. We won. But it was freezing.
The lemonade guy was there.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Oh, he was there.
I didn't hear him.
Yeah. The lemonade guy. Lemonade like grandma made. If you know, you know. If you don't, sorry.
Get out of my state. I'm over it.
The lemonade guy is always there, and
since the 80s.
Yeah. Since our friendship began.
Because our parents were like, yeah, he'd be there at the Suns games and at spring training and back before we had a MLB team. And
how did I get on this track?
I don't know
either.
Sports. So we'll talk about sports. Big Diamondbacks, big ASU, big Suns, and then don't hate me, Cowboys. It just is what it is. Born into it.
It was thrust upon us.
Some are born great. Some achieve greatness. And
some have greatness thrust upon them. Some do.
But not us.
I wouldn't say that's our situation, because all of our teams have never won anything since we've been around.
Basically. I was thinking about that today. I don't know why. About when we won against Philly and we're going into the World Series, how that was like top 10 one of my favorite moments in life.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the 2001 World Series.
No.
Like, I remember going to the parade after with my mom and my siblings. But I don't remember anything about the games. And our parents were at Game 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember anything. I just remember the parade. So like that moment was like top 10.
Yeah.
Like cried.
That was
FaceTime my parents crying. We were screaming and shouting and jumping. I mean, the whole game I'm like pacing the whole kitchen and living room, didn't sit down for 1 second. I could like tear up right now. It was just like a top 10 like best moment. Yeah.
It was a very cool thing.
Yeah.
Very special. And it ended not
great.
Not wonderfully, but you know, it was still a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more of those.
Yeah.
Maybe this season. Yeah, we'll see. I would like to get into women's rugby.
Since the Olympics, rugby. Yeah.
There's a new women's rugby league in the US.
Yeah.
There's like 8 teams or something. I have no idea when the season is. I don't know any other information, but I'm going to find out.
Cool. You know, since the Olympics, I was like, everyone's playing rugby. If I was a kid and that was if in high school, if that's an option, I would have been all about it.
If I had known about it in college, I definitely would have played.
Yeah.
Because ASU has like women's, they do that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When we were in college?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They have, I don't know if it's a official or if it's like a club.
Oh, yeah. But still.
But it was absolutely a thing.
Because like in high school, I played, because they would do like powder puff football, like one game. So when I was a freshman, I did that and it was so much fun. So I'm like, I could have freaking done rugby.
Yeah.
That would have been so fun.
And I played tuba ball.
Tuba ball.
I told you about tuba ball.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Tuba ball is where the tuba section and the percussion section, mainly the drum line plus the cool kids from Pitt, would get together. Cool.
Let's remember
The cool
band
kids.
nerds.
So the tuba section, the drum line, and some of the Pitt kids would compete against each other, and I think we would just like split up. I don't think it was like tuba versus percussion, but I honestly don't remember. We get big sousaphone bells. So
what the fuck is a sousaphone
So,
bell?
a tuba is the one. Okay,
I need more wine. Should we pause? I don't know.
let's take a break.
Let's.
So tuba ball is where you have, okay, a tuba is obviously the big brass instrument, but the ones that wrap around you and have like the big bell in marching band, it's called a sousaphone. After John Philip Sousa.
I have no idea.
Sousaphone. My band kids will know. So
Is that going to be our demographic?
Why is that an issue?
I just wasn't what
Sorry, it's not going to be just jocks listening about sports.
No, because we talk about friendship and other stuff too.
Yeah, so it's going to be about friends and people who have friends are going to listen. That's our demographic. People with friends. If you don't have friends, fuck off. Just kidding. We'll be your friends. Okay, so you get 2 sousaphones, and those are the goals. Okay, and then you have a tennis ball that you are trying to get into the sousaphone.
Yes.
And there are essentially no other rules. So you can pick up the sousaphone bell, the tuba bell, and carry it around. You can tackle people. You can do anything.
How did we get on this?
Because we were talking about rugby.
Oh.
And you were talking about how you played Powerpuff, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to explain that.
What you did.
What I did was play tuba ball once.
I played Powerpuff once.
Once. But I made people bleed.
Hell yeah.
I clawed necks.
Mm-hmm.
And I scored goals. So
hit her up, ladies.
So-
She's scoring goals and putting tuba balls and saxophones. What?
Tennis balls, Squidward tent poles. So yeah, we'll talk about sports.
Friendship.
We'll talk about.
I think a big thing I'm going to talk about is my dating life.
Yes.
It's pretty interesting sometimes.
Taylor has a very exciting dating life in that
Thank you.
she makes choices that are really interesting for the rest of us to hear about.
Cheers.
And I have a really exciting dating life in that I am dating women, except for that I haven't. Not one, not ever, but that could change.
Oh yeah, all right.
The bottom line is I'm not gonna date a man, and that makes me so relieved.
You know what? I actually had a dream last night where you did try
to date a man,
but it was somebody I was interested in.
Oh.
And I was not happy because I was like, we have never had this issue before.
Well, not never.
Well, when it's been an issue, like
it's never been
an issue, but there
has been overlap in some taste. It's not zero. It's slim,
taste
though.
is a strong word.
Availability, proximity of person.
Yeah. That's yeah. And I was like, yeah, I was not happy in my dream. But
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay because I woke up and I was like, well, she wouldn't do that.
No.
And yeah, because
If
I had to like.
If I ever liked a woman and was trying to, and you swooped, the way I would kill you.
That's kind of how I felt. I was like, I just told you the other day. I was like, you were sitting right next to me. And I was trying to figure it out. And now you're going to, and I was like, and you're not even like trying to talk me up. You're trying to swoop in. And I was like, you don't even want to date a man. Why are you taking this one that I just thought I had a crush on?
I must have sensed that it wasn't good for you and I was trying to save you.
So you don't think it'll be good?
Just that one person.
But now we're back in real world.
We're back in. We're talking about a real person here?
Yeah, we're talking about a real person.
Okay, well, all right.
I'm not gonna say.
I think that would be fine,
Mhm.
depending on what that is. I know who,
Okay, I have no idea.
but the what. Cheers, we'll drink to that.
Anyways, we're gonna talk about dating.
So we're gonna talk about dating. We're gonna talk about movies that we see
Mm-hmm.
because we are AMC Movie Pass holders.
I know, like
A-list movie pass holders, and we saw like 36 movies last year or something.
no, it was like in the 50s,
Sure,
40s,
maybe, perhaps, I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah,
We've seen, I don't know, probably at least 10 or 12 this year,
yeah.
and we're gonna see more. So if you like movies or sports or,
Or
friendship or dating or
gays.
gays,
It's that time of the night.
then it's that time of the night, baby. And let's talk about that time of the night, because that time of the night is a special time.
Well, that time of the night, the concept of that time of the night has been around for 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to go into the history?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that time of the night. So, the thing about me is that I am weird. I have ADHD. We don't know. Science hasn't gotten there yet. I have something. So, in the evenings, there's a point where I get a little funny, a little silly, and usually I take off my shirt.
Yeah.
Because in addition to being funny and silly, I also get sweaty. Cheers to my sweaty girls out there, because the sweat be sweating.
And a special shout out to those girls who live in Arizona. We're going through it.
We're going through it. We're sweating year round, and sometimes a shirt just can't be tolerated.
And yeah.
So we lived together. We lived together on and off for many years.
Point of almost, because I've been back for almost 9 years. So like a good 5,
at
6
least
of those
like
years?
yeah, we lived together. And when we would live together, it would just get to a point where I could
like
not.
That time of the night,
shirt off, and
yeah.
Tay would say, "Oh, it's
that time of the night."
I don't know why.
Right.
I don't know what. It just
stuck.
It's stuck, and it represents the bond that we have,
college,
the acceptance that we have for each other's isms.
You made me cry.
Oh. And
she's like, got a lot of isms.
I have the ism. You know the one. But that time of the night is a special time, and it's not restricted to night. It's that mode that we get into, where we're reading each other's minds, and we're sharing a giggle, we're having a laugh.
We're gonna talk about the Brits too. If you want to hear about British people, that's another thing we're probably gonna talk about.
Yeah,
TV,
Love Island,
reality TV, especially dating reality TV. Anyway, sorry.
Somebody who doesn't. Okay, if you don't like sports,
I know we've got
friendship,
the whole demographic,
movies, TV,
the whole
dating
world,
or wine. If you don't like any of those things, then I'm concerned for your health.
Fuck out, dude.
And if there's something else that you like that has drawn you to this podcast for some reason, please let us know, because we'd love to talk about it.
Please let us know, as in the 3 people who will be watching this.
Hey, Mom.
You're going to tell your mom?
I am not going to tell my mom.
Me either. 3 people I meant were Eep and Creep and Mal, who will also tell Gina, but I don't think Gina will watch.
No. So if you're one of our best friends who's watching this right now and you want us to talk about something, let us know, because we like to talk about fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Cheers, I'll drink to that. I thought it would be fun maybe if we did like some silly BuzzFeed quizzes.
Okay.
Do you want to pull something up?
Pull something up? You'll have to pull something up.
Okay, here we go. BuzzFeed quizzes. Tell me which one of these appeals to you.
Oh, you know
Ooh.
what we should do also?
Yeah. Cootie catcher. That's what they're called.
Well, it sure works.
One
day we'll talk about San Francisco. Not tonight.
We're gonna talk about travel.
We'll have
trips.
So we travel. We have so many trips. We'll do like a story time every ep, and we'll talk about like San Francisco will be one of those. So good. And Italy, London and Amsterdam, Mex, San Diego,
LA, San Diego,
Florida,
San Diego.
Well,
Dallas. Shout out Keepy.
We've been
Oklahoma.
Yep.
For 4th of July.
We've been to San Antonio.
For football.
Football. There's a fight in that story.
Florida. I don't know if you already said that.
Florida, but that's okay. Is that all the places we've been?
London, Amsterdam.
I said those.
You said Amsterdam too? I heard London. Well, we're gonna go to Greece. We're gonna go to Hawaii.
Oh, Tanner is on board to go with us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna include him.
Tanner, are you listening right now?
I'll tell Tanner about the podcast. Tanner's my little brother. My older brother is getting married in Greece next year. So I invited all my friends. And my little brother is going to join us on our little girls trip. And we're going to see Greece. Apparently my parents are skydiving with my brother before.
That's what he wants to do?
Mm-hmm.
Before the wedding?
I don't know. I would think smarter to do after. But I want no part of skydiving.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm 50-50 on skydiving. I don't need to do it in Greece.
No.
Because
absolutely
I want to see Greece.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, Tanner's going to be going with us. But my sister's bringing her boyfriend, so I don't know how much she'll be hanging out with us. But I would like her to hang out with us.
Yeah. I mean, the boyfriend can come too.
He's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Except if you're listening to this, you're not fucking cool. Anyways, BuzzFeed.
All right. Here is one for you that I think you'll enjoy. It says, plan a magical Disney movie marathon.
Oh.
And we'll give you a European city to visit.
Okay.
Could that not be more perfect? Okay.
Yes.
Let's get this movie marathon started. Choose your first film. Here we go. Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, Mulan, or The Lion King?
Lion King.
Luca, The Princess and the Frog, Pinocchio, or The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Luca.
Alice in Wonderland, Encanto, Monsters, Inc., The Fox and the Hound.
Monsters, Inc.
Absolutely. Just checking. Okay. Big Hero 6, Lady and the Tramp, Ratatouille, The Little Mermaid.
Oh, Little Mermaid.
Cinderella, Inside Out, Oliver and Company, The Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Aww. Bubba.
Brother Bear, Hercules, Peter Pan, Tangled. That's a toughie.
Hercules.
Yeah. Aladdin, Fantasia, Moana, The Incredibles.
Aladdin.
Final movie.
Okay.
Bambi, Lilo and Stitch, 101 Dalmatians, Tarzan.
Lilo and Stitch.
All right. What do you think your European city is?
I don't want to say. You need to say.
No, I want you to guess.
Is it somewhere I've been?
No.
Paris.
Yes! Oh my god! Says, ooh, you should visit Paris, the city of Louvre.
Well, I've always wanted to see the Eiffel Tower.
Is calling your name. Whether you want to visit the Eiffel Tower or stroll around the Louvre, there's always an adventure waiting just around the corner. Don't forget to grab some macarons. I love Paris.
I've never been.
I know. I want you to go. I want to go back, and I want you to go. Paris was great. Yeah, you would like Paris.
I know I'd like Paris.
I would. We should do like France, like several areas of France.
Girl, I am literally always down to go to Europe. I love Europe so much. You know I want to live there. I mean, we all want to live there.
Does Europe know how lucky they are to be Europe?
No. They just are so close to so many places. What are we close to? Texas?
And not even really.
And no. No, we're not.
We are close to Rocky Point,
We are.
and that's nice.
Yeah. I do love Max.
I like Arizona because
Oh, I love Arizona.
I love Arizona.
Trust me, anywhere in the U.S., like I'm here. I
Yeah.
thought maybe I wanted to move away, but no, this is home. This is where I want to be.
We
I
kind
love,
of have everything
yeah,
close by.
yeah. And then my biggest thing about moving, though, is like, will I give up the Diamondbacks?
Mm-hmm. No,
No, can't do it. Just that right there, I can't do it.
yeah, because you can still like root for them and watch
Oh yeah,
them,
but you
like,
can't really.
not really.
Yeah, you can't watch them. I could hardly watch them when I lived in a different state.
Yeah,
So I could not. You know how much I love them.
I do.
I know.
That would be hard.
Okay. Also, Tori, any of the guys, if any of you are listening, big Q on my mind. Is Jake McCarthy stinky?
I say yes.
We think he kind of looks a little stinky, but not in
love
a bad
him.
way.
We love him
so much.
We
He's just our little stink.
little stinky boy.
He just kind of looks like maybe he goes a couple days past when he should shower.
Yes.
But we love him so much. And Corbin, Alec, anybody, if they want to let us know.
We love you.
Is he a little stinky? Anyways.
Yeah, who's the stinkiest? If not
Between
Mr.
whom?
Stink.
Oh.
If not Jake.
If not Jake, then who?
Then who? Who do you think is the stinkiest?
On the team?
Yeah.
I don't want to cause friction. I don't want to cause hatred.
Okay, who do you think smells the best?
Smells the Alec.
Really?
For sure that boy has too much cologne on.
I could see that.
For sure.
I could see Cattell.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cattell who?
Cattell Marte.
Used to follow me on Instagram.
Oh, yes. I was... Cattell who?
Like,
Cattell who? Cattell used to follow me on Instagram. Cattell. I mean, follow you.
Yes, me. A long time ago.
Cattell, why did you unfollow her on Instagram?
That's so sad. You're going to regret it.
Take it back.
Yeah.
Follow her.
Thank you.
Look at the material.
Just as friends.
We just want to be friends.
I know.
We're a good time.
I know. I truly just want to be friends with all of them.
Yeah. Well, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you just hit us up anytime?
Thanks, guys. Remember, whatever for the dugout.
We're going to play a little game where we pick two letters. Who's first, who's
you
last?
Pick the first letter, I'll pick the last letter.
Can we do the opposite? Because that's how you read, is left to right. And if we do it the opposite, I'm going to get confused.
Okay, so I'm the first letter?
So we're each going to pull a letter out of the bag. We're going to flip them over. And then we have to both say a word that starts with the letter you choose and ends with the letter I choose. If we both say the same word, we get a point.
Sure.
And if we get... And whoever, if we get the most points...
I gotta think
that's
of
it.
word.
That's
okay.
it. We get a point.
Okay.
And that's all that matters.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Did you pick one or a handful?
I have one.
Okay. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You have to look at the same time.
Okay,
1, 2, 3.
Toad.
I forgot to say a word.
Okay, it was T and D. Should we shout, look, and show?
If you can't figure out what the first and last letter of toad is, then that's your problem.
Okay.
You'll figure it out.
I have one.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Rock. Nope. I have.
You didn't show me the letter. Sorry.
How do you want to know it in my head what I'm thinking right now? Broccoli.
Broccoli. That doesn't end with a C. What fucking word ends in a C? Pass. Try this again. Try again. Ready? Don't look at it.
It's
1,
blank.
2, 3. Jesus. Okay, that's 1 point.
I'm crying. Wait, okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yee.
Yin. Yin. Yee. Yee what?
15 Yemen Road, Yemen.
Okay,
Okay, I'm crying. I can't.
you can do this.
How do you know which way you're holding it? If
I
it's-
don't.
Okay.
I'm just flipping it over.
Ready, set.
One. That's a blank. E. Maybe E stands for
E.
extra fuel. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh no.
C.
C. Sis. No.
I got nothing.
Pass.
Okay. This is
If you know a word that starts with S and ends with I, put it in the comments. All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Toad! Toad again.
What are the odds of that?
Well,
Well, tell me.
I don't. That was my least favorite math class. Was fucking odds.
Statistics?
No, not. It was like, it was finite.
No,
I liked
we're done
finite.
with that
Okay,
shit.
it doesn't
We're-
matter. It was bad.
We're not. No one wants to talk about math. That's not what this podcast is about.
This podcast is
It's
about
not
a lot
about
of things,
math.
but it's
It's
not
not
about
about math.
fucking math. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I got F.
Okay, ready? Switch. Vagina.
Are we still
Okay, one more.
Okay, that was a pretty good one.
Wait, I already looked at this one. Let me pick it. Make sure it's not blank. Feel it? Does it have letters on it?
Oh, I feel it.
Oh, I can feel it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no. One more. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
on?
And then we both pick I.
Okay.
I.
Oh
Okay,
my
I'm gonna
gosh.
pick 2. And then I'm gonna give you 1.
Okay.
You ready?
1, 2, 3.
Ass! That's 2 points, baby.
Jesus and ass.
All right, so we won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
To us.
If you'd like to play along,
Just
get your own
Scrabble
fucking
and your
50th
friend.
anniversary Scrabble.
and you two can play along.
Thanks guys for listening. I don't know if it was entertaining for you, but it was
really
entertaining
for us.
and that's really all we care about. That I would like to say that this podcast, yes, it's about friendship. Yes, it's about all those other things that we listed several times,
Yes.
but mainly it's about quitting our office jobs.
Cheers. I will truly drink to that.
So please like, share, subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for sure.
And wherever else we might be. Who
Yeah,
knows?
who
Who knows where we're
knows?
gonna end
Yeah.
up? Blue Sky, Facebook. Just
Rate,
kidding.
Rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you next
Live,
week.
laugh, love. We'll see you next time that it's
That time of the night. Cheers.